What's up, gang? Hope you're doing well. This video I've been asked to react to for a while, a long time actually. I keep saying I'm going to get to it. I keep forgetting, but I've remembered. I saw it pop up on my feed and was like, oh yeah, there was a lot of people wanting me to react to this. And also just a heads up, I'm probably not going to get to react to Unrivaled or FIBA 3x3. I tried and was copyrighted, so I'm likely not going to be putting those videos on here, but I will find a way around it, and I'll probably do it over at some point somewhere else. So I'll figure out how to do it. Not to steal content, but I just think there's some X's and O's things that are really important to point out, but I can't get in contact even to be able to let them know that, hey, I'm not trying to take your whole video, just trying to do a small portion here. But whatever. So we'll get to that point. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But this is Steph Curry and National Basketball Players Association. So go like, go subscribe, go support. Brandon Payne is a really good example of what I think, if you want to be a skills trainer, a lot of people think a skills trainer is what a lot of these online content creators are. There's a lot of famous or popular online content creators that I've done videos on. You can go watch my main channel for some of these things. They're not skills trainers. They're people that teach skills sometimes, right? The reason I think that gets misconstrued and the reason I dislike it and the reason I made a bunch of videos on that is because there are people out there like a Brandon Payne. I read a couple articles and we've watched a couple videos that he's done. The way that he trains Steph Curry is not putting out a program for thousands and thousands of people to play like Steph Curry. The way he works with Steph Curry is very individual to Steph Curry. So has these conversations. He's with him in the weight room. He's with him with conditioning. He's with him at games. He's with him on the journey to understand holistically what Steph Curry needs to improve. And then what he typically improves is one aspect of it, which is the skills part. But he's along the ride for the whole journey so that he knows where he's needed. It's like a team aspect. It's like a team. It's Tim Grover with Michael Jordan. It's Tim Grover with Kobe and Dwayne Wade. It's those types of, it's Drew Hanlon with some of his players, you know, it's these trainers that are holistically a part of the players that they're training. It's not just that they happen to train one player a couple times and then they take credit for everything they've done. That's why I really dislike when people use like, oh, I've trained this guy. I hate it. I hate it because all of us, everyone that's coached, you've coached someone famous. I've coached, I can count on two hands. No, I can't count on two hands, more than 10 players that I've had the privilege to coach and be a part of their journey have played in the NBA, have played professionally. I would not say I was the person that turned them into an NBA player. I just happened to be one of the coaches that was able to help them out, right? But this type of trainer can probably take some credit. Again, Steph Curry was always going to be Steph Curry, but there's probably a lot that he does that Steph Curry goes, hey, I trust this guy. This guy's along for the journey. He does his part of this. This is a team. We're a team now. To me, this is the greatest example. This type of trainer is like the greatest example of what a skills trainer is. So with all that being said, let's get into the video. I'm sorry for that precursor.
Skills coach since 2011, and we've worked very long at creating a great partnership in terms of what he works on during the off season. Today we'll take a look at a video from a workout we had in early September 2025 and just go over some of the drills that we were doing that day and go over what we were trying to accomplish. Pretty much anytime we getting started with a workout, we're going to do some things where we're challenging his ball handling and his decision making. We're going to try to get him activated. So we're going to
being very specific about what they're working on. Nice.
Provide them with a lot of information and decisions to make. So in this particular drill where I've got my assistant Alec Flat.
I do this with kids. This is a really fun drill for them. Just to line them up on the sideline, give them all a basketball. If they all brought a ball, great. Put them in groups of two. So that way one player has two basketballs, the other person is in front of them. Have them walk to the other side of the court. They can do simultaneous. They can do simultaneous cross, whatever dribbling you want them to do. But then the other person is pointing up numbers and the player has to look and count what number they're saying. Or you have one player dribbling with one hand free, the other player dribbling with one hand free, and they're going to the other side of the court opposite each other, and they're having to spell out each other's name, things like that. So this sort of stuff, seeing Steph Curry, one of the greatest players of all time, do this sort of stuff It's so cool.
Flashing numbers at Steph while he's going through 2-ball drills. We're actually giving him information to the drill that he's got to execute. So if there's a 0, it's behind the back. If it's an even number, it's between the legs. If it's an odd number, it's a crossover. So he has to react to the information. And that's something that's very important for players when they're going through workouts, is to not just go through set patterns. And it's something we definitely do with Steph. We stay away from patterns. We constantly put him in situations where he's reading and reacting. In this particular drill, now we've taken one of the basketballs away and he's getting 2 numbers. The number in front of each hand is giving him the information he needs to execute the drill. So he's got that same odds, evens, zeros assignment pattern, but now he's got 2 decisions to make. So
it's just funny because now, again, like I've never seen this, but it's just the same drill. This is kind of what the constraints-led approach can allow for. This is the same drill that I was just explaining that I have 10-year-olds do this. 8-year-olds can do this drill that I was explaining, but you can add complexity up to a higher level. So the reason I do like the constraints-led approach is it allows you to not think of a drill as a static one set drill. Here's the rules. It allows you to, I call it, you can develop games. You can develop the constraints. So here's a drill. Get creative with the types of constraints based on the type of player you have.
Each hand is telling him what to do. So you'll notice he's reacting to the numbers, not necessarily calling the numbers, he's reacting to the numbers. Now we're moving on to get him active.
This drill right here, this is one of my, I'm going to make a video where I'm going to put my top 10 favorite drills. This is in my top 5. This is one of my favorite drills I've ever done. And I actually learned it from watching Steph Curry years ago. This was 10, maybe longer, maybe 12 years ago. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's been a long time. 10 years ago, I'll say 10. Watching Steph Curry do this workout, it's just dribbling one ball, shooting the other, and he was doing it from the 3-point line. So I go onto the court and I'm like, oh, easy. Let's see what he's doing. I couldn't do it. My body, the coordination, the dexterity, the balance, I couldn't do the drill. So I started with layups. So I got really close to the basket and tried it, and it took forever. It was overloading my brain. It was a lot. Came in the next day and was a little better at it. Then I developed my own finishing type of drill around this concept because I started realizing what it was helping me with, what it was helping me self-organize. It was helping me get to a place where I could balance better on my finishing. I could control the ball better. It was really the drill that helped me develop finishing with my offhand. I was terrible with my left hand all the way until, honestly, my first year overseas doing this sort of drill, doing this drill. And it really started developing my touch. Then I got to the point where I was shooting free throws and I could do that. I just set up the shooting machine and work on it. Then I got to where I could shoot threes, and it really helped me develop my balance with my shot, my balance with my finishing, my dexterity with my finishing, so many things. Top 5 drill of all time right here.
Activated from a shooting standpoint, this drill, we call it 2-ball shooting, is about more than ball handling. It's about more than just...
Mind you, he's shooting left-handed. I didn't do this part, but we wonder why he can pass the ball. Had I had more time, had I had someone leading these drills for me and teaching me this stuff, I would have loved to get to this point and be able to explore these things more. No surprise that he can do left-handed hook passes or full court left-handed behind the back passes on the money.
Shooting the ball, it's about learning how to get yourself grounded to start the day and get yourself balanced and get your core engaged. Then we move on.
And that core engagement is what I was talking about with the balance. I didn't even know it was a thing until doing that type of drill. Then I became aware of it, and every drill, every activity, all the stuff I did from then on, full speed right, full speed left. You're seeing the development of a hooper.
What we call pickup shooting, and what pickup shooting is what you're looking at right here. It's getting the ball off the ground up into the shot pocket. So it's just a hard dribble into the shot. And this we drill the most basic form of, because it's always the finishing move of any shot he takes off the move.
I worked on this as well, not the same way. Obviously, any drill that he's doing, I likely did some form of this, but without trainers, without coaches, rebounders, things like that. So you can still work on this stuff, just got to get creative. But I was very intentional with my pickups, and that looks like what he's working on. It's so funny to see the greatest players of all time be so intentional with what they're drilling and what they're working on. And this is why when you see me be super pedantic with trainers and coaches that are online, it's because of this sort of stuff. Like this is what they're doing. Look how pedantic they are. And after years and years of practicing that way, it's really hard to, you can't unsee it after that.
So anything that he's doing off the dribble, we want to make sure that the pickup is nice and smooth. And so we try to work out the kinks at the start of every workout to make sure he's picking up the basketball cleanly and in a straight line off the ground up into a shot pocket. Even the greatest shooter of all time has to work on very small details. And that's something we do at the start of the workout so we can get more.
So I wonder what their cues are for their pickup, because it looks like he spins the ball with his left hand to get the seams.
Complex and more difficult.
If we'll look at this last shot, it looks like he's spinning the ball to get the seams. And I wonder if that's something they specifically talk about, like find the seams. So I wonder if it's the left hand doing the work, if it's the right hand doing the work, or it's a combination. I would really like to know what their cues are for finding the seams. Because again, this is just stuff I had to self-learn, self-teach, self-explore. I would love to hear what him and Steph Curry have come up with to shortcut that. And that would be something that would be great to be teaching other players. I'd love to know.
Out so we can get more complex and more difficult as the workout goes. The misses here are actually important to us. You know, we want to see where the ball is flying, and we want to make sure that he's adjusting his base and he's adjusting his core to account for the flight of the basketball. What we're doing here is called leverage release. So in games, a lot of times he'll be leveraged.
And again, this is stuff that I just see skills trainers work on, this sort of stuff. Like I think we saw this with Jaylen Brown, and it just feels so disjointed, and it just feels so like separate from what they actually need. Like this does not make sense to me to practice this sort of stuff in this grade of detail in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to go to this one trainer and work on this thing one time, and we're going to go do this. It's, to me, this is a daily grind, daily vitamin C, and not necessarily daily, but I'm just saying, like, they've clearly had conversations on this. They've clearly identified exactly what he needs to work on and why he needs to work on it. So then having that in the drill right now, it can be pointed out later on. Now they can watch game film, or he can go into a game and be thinking this. And then we can go back to game film and look and go, see, this is, yeah, that's what that's what, oh, okay, it makes sense. When I was watching that Jaylen Brown workout, I'm like, yeah, these are all drills, but like, is this what Jaylen Brown needs? Is this what, like, what are we doing? And that's why I said, are they working with the weights, the weight room, strength and conditioning? Sorry, my brain is fried watching this. It's so good. It's actually making me think. But with the Jaylen Brown, I'm like, are they in tune with the strength and conditioning? And are they in tune with what Jaylen Brown needs? And are they in tune with what the skills trainers are going to work on? And they in tune with what he's doing in a game? And I'm like, it all has to work together. And this is the part that is missing more often than not. How often do you go to a skills trainer or go to a basketball camp, and those people are familiar with your high school and the offense that they run, or the style of play that your league has? Or like, how often does that happen? My guess is that most skills trainers you go to are just like, today we're going to work on this. You should be starting. You're so good. Yeah, you get in a game, like, let it fly. More step backs, the better. That's the stuff they say. But it's like, hold on. Like, you haven't even seen this kid play. Maybe he's got, dogs are barking. Maybe he's got a terrible attitude. Maybe he's got a terrible attitude, and that's why he didn't get to play. It doesn't matter how many cones you put in front of him. If he didn't change his attitude, he's not going to get court time. Maybe that's what you actually need to work on. As a skills trainer, maybe it's not skills. Maybe you just need to coach this kid to have a better attitude. So anyways, that's the sort of stuff. Sorry, my dogs are losing their mind. I don't usually record this late.
Against the defender when he's driving, and he has to be able to release and do it in a very balanced way. So I'm simply providing leverage to him, and then we contrast that leverage release with just a non-leverage release. So now he's just sidestep.
Oh, this is great. So did it with the pressure, now doing it without. This might be one of the best examples of a training session I've ever seen, because these are things that I've just accidentally learned over my entire lifetime of playing. And my whole goal of making this channel was to be like, you guys shouldn't make the lifelong mistakes I made. Maybe I can simplify that and give you a better direction. Now I'm watching this and I'm like, Jesus, this is such a specific direction. I learned this style of doing this with, I had a trainer that was trying to have me do step backs. So drive to the basket, push off, step back. And I realized I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it on air. So I said to him, I was like, can you like play defense on me? So he played defense and I could do the push off. So my being able to feel it with defense and then imagine that and then be able to replicate it without defense was one of the things that helped me in a game, to where if I'm driving and he releases and I'm going to do my step back and he pulls the chair, I'm not going to fall over because I'm not relying on that pressure. I can do the step back with or without the pressure. I've practiced both. This is kind of the same thing. He can sidestep and get on balance with the pressure there or without the defensive pressure there.
Stepping with no leverage, and it's just, you know, we're providing a little bit of load and then we contrast back to nothing and then we come back to the load again. So now he's leverage and release laterally for a shot. Big things here with him is he's working on making sure that the line between his nose and his belly button is staying in the rim. So we want to make sure we're as balanced as we can be and as strong as we can be at the same time.
He said hold on. I'm really sorry.
Big things here with him is he's working on making sure that the line between his nose and his belly button is staying in the rim. So we want to make sure we're as balanced as we can be and as strong as we can be. So
not turning while he's shooting. So belly button and nose staying straight. That's a really good cue. For me, I didn't realize how much I twisted until watching a lot of breakdown, like recording myself shooting. And I was twisting so much. That's why that balance two ball shooting helped me a ton, because I was twisting a lot, which was making my shot very flat.
At the same time. You know, and then we take that same movement and we move out to the 3-point line. So now you're just working on side steps. Again, our focus is balanced, our center of mass. You'll see him doing things like that where he feels like he's rotating. So in this particular case, he thought that he was rotating a little bit to the left. So in a minute, you're going to see us kind of stop here.
Man, that's great. And so he's so in tune with himself and he's able to communicate what he's feeling and seeing to the coaches. This is, again, where it pays to have a team. Like you and your trainer, it's a partnership. It's team. It's not just we're just not just doing a one-off session so that we can network.
Have him put his fists together. I'm going to try to give him some rotational force, and he's going to work on anti-rotation. So work against rotating the way he thought he was. Then he'll make the correction. Now we'll go back to the leverage release. He misses one or two here as he's just kind of coming off of that anti-rotation we just worked through. But you'll see, you know, we're very intentional about his feet, about his balance, about, you know, where his shot line is coming off of that leverage. And once he gets grooved in here, he looks pretty good. Movement. One thing he's kind of working on here as well is not allowing any lateral flexion in his core, which we talk about quite a bit, as he's somebody that spaces laterally a lot during the games. So, you know, you'll see making little core movements, little core adjustments as he's going through after each shot. That's just him self-correcting. And now we go back to the leverage release. So he's leveraging against me. He's pushing against me. I'm pushing against him. He's got to get away, be balanced, be smooth, create space, and get the shot off. So we're going to take that same leverage release concept that we just worked on laterally, and now we're going to work on spacing straight back away from the defense. So
this is good. If you go watch my shooting video that I spoke about, yeah, I did talk about this a bit. But just, I mean, you just rep out the different types of catches that you get in a game a lot. Like rep out. You just rep those out. Now he's repping those out. He's broken down his step back or his dribble retreat, pick up into a shot. Just break it down into small pieces. Work on each piece of those and correcting those. He's at that level where it's like correcting each little detail is like really beneficial but they also have infinite amounts of data to go off of. If you're not Steph Curry, you don't need to lock in like this for every single detail, but pick one. Pick one thing that you're trying to improve upon and learn the ins and outs of it, and you master it, and then you move on to the next thing. All right, let's master this. Let's master that.
Now we'll provide some leverage in front of him, so he'll be in a drive position, and he's got a space away straight back. Again, not the easiest thing to do when you've got to be strong and be leveraged and then release immediately and be balanced. One of the things that can be difficult for players to do when they're spacing straight away from a defender is not allowing their chest to get too far out in front of their toes, because when they do that, they'll overcorrect when they go.
This is why step backs is so tough. But again, it's just, you just rep it out and just be able to find that balance and find that strength too. Think of all the strength sort of stuff he was doing, lower body sort of stuff, and it just helps you stabilize, get into that athletic position, sideways, forwards, backwards, whatever. Be able to get to that position and be able to statically stop yourself, dynamically stop yourself. I don't know. Be able to stop yourself moving from whatever direction and get on balance, and then react whatever other direction you need to go.
Back to shoot. So you're going to see a couple of reps here as he goes through it where he is overcorrecting a little bit, so the ball flies a little long. We just cue him. We give him the correction of, hey, just make sure your ears are over your shoulders are over your hips.
Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Isn't it fun? And again, you go watch my shooting video, and I told you, it's like those sort of shooting cues are so much better than like, use your legs, all this, your angle needs to be this, and all these things. For me, it was like, okay, what finger? Because I shot like this. So I found a shooting cue that got my hand to here. So strong fingers was one of them, because I would do like this and shoot sideways. So it was like, okay, strong fingers, and it leaves this finger last, because I shot with a thumb flick. So strong fingers leaves that finger last. So it doesn't even matter if I thumb flick or not. Strong fingers, it leaves that finger. It was always going straight, always had good rotation. Then I also had elbow under the ball. So for me, because I had wider shoulders, it would come into this, but it was only when I was shooting deep shots did I need to shoot like this. But for most people, elbow under the ball, because your shoulders aren't going to be as wide as mine, elbow under the ball will probably look like this. And that's okay. Like, that's what elbow under the ball, right? It doesn't mean perfectly straight. Just for everyone, it's a little different. But those are the shooting cues that I had, so I could quickly self-correct. So again, if you're trying, like, it's easy for them to have shooting cues because Steph Curry is learning some. Coach Payne is learning some. These guys are probably talking to Coach Payne about, oh, I noticed he does this a lot. So they're developing it as a team. For you yourself, you have to learn these sort of things. You have to learn it on your own. But this is the part of basketball and becoming a shooter is like, yeah, go get reps up and I call it being be active, actively learning when you go shooting. Don't go to school on every shot. Coach Dave Love. Don't just shoot mindlessly. It's like, think about what's working, what's not working, what are we trying to focus on, and then have some shooting cues to get you back on balance, and then back to it.
Don't get too far out in front of your toes. It'll be a little bit of a quicker, easier shot, more controlled shot. When he gets back there, I think you'll see us kind of correct it here. When we're talking about being too far out in front of your toes, he makes the correction. Now the ball starts to go in. Mention it to him and he'll make the correction on his own. Again, we go back to the leverage fender, to a drill where he's working on curling. So he goes through a full curl, then he'll go to what we call a half curl. So his right foot is going to stop halfway in between after the full curl.
Man, they're getting so detailed with his pickups. Again, for me, I just picked one. But it's because I was playing in a league that didn't force me to, I say this stuff all the time. I like to go onside step, one dribble to the basket. That's good enough. But that's the level I played. That was good enough. And that's good enough for almost every level. But then when you're Steph Curry, when you're Kobe Bryant, when you are the scorer on your team and on a championship contending team, the details are even more dramatic. So it's not just about onside step, one bounce to the basket. It's now onside step. Your back foot has to turn to the left so you get more push. When we throw the ball out, it's shoulder first, and then you can get more detailed. But there's a specific reason. So for Steph Curry, it's like how many times he's shooting that curl, and it's like if you have to shoot it a little bit quicker, you're going to stop your foot here. Like if the defense is really fast and they're trailing and you know they're going to make a play on the ball, have to shoot a little bit quicker. If you turn and look and you know you have a second to get this off, let's shoot a higher percentage shot. Your foot's going to land here. This is amazing. This is so good.
So there's a full curl. Now he'll go to a half curl. So right.
And now he's repping out each one, like he's alternating full curl, half curl, full curl, half curl.
Foot's further back. And then he'll go through a full rotation. So no step, just leave the ground, rotate, hit the shot. So we're working on body control, which is something we do quite often with him.
And again, this is where I would say, so this is where CLA training to me gets ahead of itself. This is where a lot of coaches will start here and be like, oh, let's do these cool. I think Good Drills does a thing like this where it's like, oh, you need to shoot these types of shots, these types of shots. And I go, you don't need to, unless there's a specific reason for you to. Most players just need to be in the gym shooting more. Like most players are missing the foundational part, right? They're not missing the, coach, I'm shooting hundreds of shots a day and I just can't make anything. It's like they're probably missing that part, you know,
because of the nature of the shot selection that he has to utilize.
And here he's Coach Payne's talking about it. Well, the reason we do this is because, so they're finding they've found a solution to a very particular problem, not just giving you a drill and be like, we'll figure out what it does for you later.
In terms of he's got to get a lot of things off the dribble. He's got to get a lot of things at odd angles. So we have to positions and workouts to where he's working with a high level of variability, but he's also got to work on a lot of body control. So
you hear what he said too. This is very important.
Things at odd angles we do quite often with him, just because of the nature of the shot selection that he has to utilize.
The reason we do these drills is because the nature of the shot selections that he has to utilize. He's Steph Curry. He's undersized and he's playing in the toughest league in the world, the highest league in the world. He's one of the greatest players ever. So he's going to be scouted against all day. And there's film out there on him that you can game plan against him infinitely. He has to hit some crazy shots. And that's why we work on these crazy things. Most of you aren't Steph Curry. You just need to be able to make an open shot with plenty of time. Just catch, shoot. If you can do that, you can play at almost every level. If you can do that at a high percentage, then the higher levels you go up, you add, right? But just to start with, again, the foundational piece you're missing is probably not this, but you can, great success leaves clues. So you can look at what Steph Curry is doing and be like, why is he doing that? Okay, do I need that for my level? I'm the best player on my team and they're game playing against me. I have to take really tough shots. Okay, here's something that I could maybe implement into my workout. Let's see how that goes.
In terms of he's got to get a lot of things off the dribble. He's got to get a lot.
If you're averaging 2 points a game, skip this section.
A lot of things
unless you just want to go try it for fun. That's obviously okay.
Odd angles. So we have to position a lot of body control. And we work on what we call mirrored movement. So anything we do one side of the floor, we have to work to the other side of the floor, even if it's very uncomfortable. We always have to have these things in our bag if we need to get to it in the game. So once again, it was a full curl, half curl, then no movement. And you'll see he's going to struggle with these. Are very difficult shots. They don't look,
because he doesn't shoot these this often.
As you're just watching the film, it doesn't really hit you how difficult this is until you actually start to go out there and try to go through these things and feel, which is what we're trying to do in the workouts with a guy like Stephen, who's just an incredible shooter. If we let them stand there, catch and shoot all day, the level of difficulty is just isn't going to be high enough for him to get anything out of it. So we're constantly putting him in uncomfortable positions where he's got to work on body control, controlling the center of mass, because those are the things that are the most valuable for him during games. To be able to get out of situations where he's engaged with a defender, be able to release away from it and be controlled and balanced when he's getting that shot off. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. There's a lot of talking, a lot of planning that he and I do together to make sure we're hitting all the different things in the off season that we need to hit that he's going to utilize during the season. And he might only use these things 3 or 4 times in a year, but it's still something that we have to work on sporadically throughout the Same thing now. We're going to work on, just spinning. Not that we really want to use a lot of spinning movements, but this is really more, the focus here is more body control. You can't look at every move that a player works on in a workout and think, well, how does that apply to a game, or when would you use that in a game? Sometimes it's not the move that we're working on as much as it is the body control. We're trying to.
Yeah, again, he's from the very beginning, they've said this session is going to be a lot of body control and self-organizing in that way. So the fact that this is all built up and it all, to me, I'm like, I can look at this and go, yeah, makes sense. This drill makes sense. Look at the last drill they did. And then you look at this one, you go, oh yeah, I can probably assume what they're working. Yeah, makes sense. Look at the first drill they did. No, yeah, the leveraging makes sense. Like all of this makes sense, right? Like it's all very contextual. They're not just bouncing all over the place with completely different workouts.
Put them in dynamic. I think that's something that a lot of players and even some fans make the mistake of when they're seeing videos like this. They're thinking that we're rehearsing moves for the game, and that's not necessarily the case. We're really working on body control and shooting mechanics. That's something we do. We don't try to plan moves or pre-plan anything. So much of basketball is just reading, reacting, and making the appropriate move based off the information you have in front of you. And that requires some really off-balance shots from time to time, especially when you're dealing with some size limitations, or if you're playing against a bigger, stronger defender. So that's what we're doing here. Information we need to make the adjustments to get better. So he doesn't ever get really frustrated with the miss. He's not at them, but he uses the misses appropriately, and he uses the information to make 4 out of 10. Right? You make 4 out of 10. That means you missed 6 out of the 10 you just took. So you want to try to be as focused as you can, making the adjustment shot to shot to make sure the next one does have a chance to go in. Talk about a lot too. We want to pick out a very small spot on the rim. That's our target. We talk about aim small, miss small, and we kind of live by that. So
this is an interesting one that I've never explored. Where do I look at when I shoot? And again, I think I've said this multiple times. I was more of a scorer than a shooter, so I never mastered shooting. Although I feel like worldwide, like obviously I was an elite shooter. When you think of, shooting threes by myself, I'm going to make 7 out of 10, like easy. 8 out of 10 is what I was like striving for. If 8 out of 10, I'm happy. But I had a lot of players on my team that I would always like compete with, and they would often go 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And I'm like, all right, I got to have a good shooting day if I'm going to beat these guys. I was never a pure shooter. That's something I really had to work on. Mid-range was different. Mid-range, it was a feel. I could just shoot it, just felt like it was going in. So I never developed some of these things of like, what part of the rim do you look at? I don't know. I just shoot it kind of in the middle. But I've heard, some people look at the back of the rim. Some people look at the net. Some people look at the little orange thing that hangs down. And I've tried all those. And for me, because I was more shooting off of like a dribble, and then I just look up and I'm shooting. So I'm shooting at an area and just trusting the ball to find its way in. So I'd be interested in what you guys think down below. What do you look at when you shoot? This is something I want to explore more. Maybe it's something I'll test out now that I'm retired. If there's much of a change of if I'm looking at a small spot on the rim, or if I'm just looking at the middle or the back of the rim. And just see how different that feels for me. Instead
of shooting at the rim as a whole, we're shooting at a very specific spot on the rim based on the angle that we're at with each shot. So here we're working on just a variable shooting drill where he's going to be changing angles, changing directions. We're shooting side to side, front to back, as much as we can.
So now he's increased the difficulty of all the little angle details that they've worked on earlier and repped out. Now they're combining all those movements to be able to pull off once out of every 5 reps, once out of every 4 reps, whatever. This is incredible.
Much. So make sure we're staying in that area so we're not putting a lot of miles on his body. Now we're going to go to variable shooting. So we go from pretty variable off the dribble, and now we're going to a 3-range variable ladder. We're basically,
again, this is like a score drill, right? Like if you're a shooter, a 3-point shooter, you can probably just rep out most of your shots from the 3. You're probably not getting a lot of long 2s and long 3s, and there's almost no point for you to have to variable shoot if your specialty is one specific thing. And that's where, Pareto principle, that's where 80% of your shots are going to come from. Just master that. The other 20%, whatever. Steph Curry, like if he gets an open look, he's got to take it. So if it's a 3, on the 3-point line, if it's 1 foot over the three, if it's a fadeaway, he's got to just be willing to shoot from anywhere as a scorer / shooter. So for him, this makes sense. You're training a different part of your brain now. You're training to shoot your normal shot, but then adjust and find the range of the next spot. Find the range of the next spot.
So going from deep mid, 3 and deeper 3. That's the terminology we use here. So he'll shoot a deep 2. Now he'll shoot a 3, and then a deeper 3. He'll go to the other side. We'll repeat this thing. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. It's called mirrored footwork. Going in the order that we're going in very intentionally. We don't want to work the same side of the floor consecutive times. We don't. So he'll go wing to wing, corner to corner, then go to the top. So we're kind of changing the sight line that he has side to side. Easy, but when you change ranges on every shot, it makes the difficulty level of the drill up quite a bit. Ladder now he's up, so we're in a 2 in a row game, so he's got to hit 2 in a row from each spot now.
This is one of my favorite drills. Again, I've got this on my shooting video on the main channel.
Thing. So he's working the corner ladder now he's up, so we're in a 2 in a row game, so he's got to hit 2 in a row from each spot now.
Again, this is it's just another variation, but yeah, this is one of my favorite drills ever. Another top 10 drill.
Something that's very important to us in our workouts. The only time we're really shooting from the stages when we're doing some volume games, where we have consecutive
his microphone keeps breaking in and out.
Limits that we put on it, meaning he can't from one spot to the next until he makes a number of shots. So that was a 2 in a row. Now he goes to the 1 make at each spot. Now he's going in a star pattern. So again, variable.
Yeah, combined like 3 different shooting drills in one here. Crazy.
Levels high. We're not really stopping moving. It mimics what he has in game situations. This looks incredibly easy for him, but they're difficult drills tough to go through.
It's another star shooting. Yeah, it was like 3 drills in one.
Consecutive makes drills. So he's got to make, I believe we're 3 or 4 in a row here at this time at each spot. Yeah, I think we're at 4 in a row here. And so in order for him to move from spot to spot, he has to make 4 consecutive shots. Then in between each round of consecutive makes at 5 spots, he's going to end up playing a game we call 21. And the 21 game is incredibly taxing, incredibly difficult when you're doing multiple round shooting in between. On this day, we were getting a little bit closer to training camp, so we had to do some things that were a little bit longer in duration as we're trying to build him up to a peak right before training camp. So some of these drills are a little bit, it would be earlier in the off season. So again, we're 4 consecutive 1. I think we're
hold on, gotta let the dogs out again.
3 here. He's going to run straight to half court. When he gets to half court, now we're getting into the 21 game. So the way this game works is drive in, he's going to pull up, he's going to shoot 3. That's worth 3 points.
Oh, I've done this, so I'm assuming he shoots a 3 worth 3, 2 worth 2, layup worth 1, and he has to alternate the whole time. So then you're back to 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. So you get to 21.
And he's going to
21.
Drive. He's going to pull up around the elbow free throw line. That's worth 2 points if it goes in. Now he's got to get all the way to the rim, and he's got to finish with a layup, and that's worth 1 point. So he has to stay in that pattern until he achieves 21 points. Okay. After he gets to the 21 point mark, now we're going to go back to the consecutive makes game that he was doing in the half court. When he gets back to that consecutive makes game, now he's at 3 on consecutive makes. So we go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1.
Damn.
But in between each round of consecutive makes, he's got to go back and play this 21 game, which again, much more difficult than it looks.
This is very difficult.
You're moving,
especially if you're not a good shooter.
You've got to run in transition. You've got to shoot the ball in a pull-up, which is much more difficult than catching and shooting in the half court. And then you've got to get all the way to the rim. He's covering a lot of ground, changing directions. You can't see it because he's got a shirt on, but his heart rate monitor's on, so we're tracking his heart rate. We get a chance to see what that looks like, not only what it looks like during the drill, but of course what it looks like down after the drill, which is something that's important to us. Another reason that we're good with these shots being from the consecutive range here for Steph is because we know he's in an elevated heart rate range, which for us is important because we don't like to shoot easy shots like this at low heart rates. It doesn't translate very well to game conditions within inside your body. So we want to make sure we're constantly keeping him in an elevated heart rate if we're just doing catching and shooting. So again, this is incredible because
I'm just taking all this in. This is amazing.
How winded he really is right now, but he's battling through. I don't remember if he missed a shot during this particular round on these 5 spots. It was 3 in a row at each spot to move to the next spot. And then he has to run right back to half court and get right back into that 21 game we just played. And then he'll go through the 5 spots, now 2 makes in a row. So now you'll see him again. He runs right back to half court. And he's kind of excited because I don't think he missed in that.
He made 16 in a row because he hit that last 3 right before to go into it.
It's worth 3.
17.
Gets free throw line, get to the elbow.
Just look at the variation of the different types of shots: consecutive, variable distance, variable spots, consecutive in a row. Like he's just challenging his brain to make all different types of shots, but it's very intentional what they're training. A lot of us grow up unintentionally training certain things, but the way that technology is now and how much information there is, you can really lock in and intentionally train a lot of things. And that was one of the biggest revelations for me in my career.
That's worth 2. We're fine with him making moves like that right before the shot again. So he uses that for deceleration, not necessarily to create separation, but the move actually helps him decelerate into really balanced shots in transition. Even watching this, after 16 years of being with them, there's
18 threes in a row, by the way.
a point,
All different types of threes, not standstill.
in every workout where even I still get kind of amazed about what I'm seeing. He does something
Did he just go through that whole game at 21 without missing?
each day that just it blows you away. I'm trying to come up
Finally missed one. This guy sucks.
with things that are borderline impossible to achieve, and every to do that he seems to not only match what I'm asking him to do, but far surpass it. So it's a difficult challenge every day to try to stay ahead of him. We try, but he's so competitive, he's so good that he finds a way to finish it every day. So again, we're at 2 in a row here, and then he'll run back up and play a variation of what we call 21. I can't remember if we did 11 this day or what number we did. We gave him something to work through here. But again, he goes back transition, so it's worth 3. It's more for to get slow, change the direction. Guys that even stuff like that, I mean, you can see the fatigue starting to set in now, so he's got to kind of remind himself, hey, we got this, we got a couple more shots. Watching Gatley does most of the time. You have to enjoy this work to get through it.
I've been saying that every video, right? If you don't enjoy this, it is just not, you're not going to make it very far. But finishing these types of workouts as a scorer, as a shooter, as a player that is already at the top of your game has got to feel good. Can't believe I did that again. How many days has he stacked up? Thousands of days like this. And it's like, another one. DJ Khaled.
Finds himself, got to run to the next spot. To be done with that drill, he actually beat that time, I think, by about 30 seconds, which is very impressive. But the workout's not done. So now we go free throw games, and this is a game we call 60. And what 60 is when Stephen has to hit 6 free throws in a row. Okay, but the key is 6 of them cannot touch the rim.
He has to hit 6 in a row, but 6 of them can't hit the rim. So you just can't hit the rim. Yeah, just be Steph Curry. Just don't hit the rim ever. It's not about the make. Just don't use the rim, bro.
And once he does that, okay, he likes to finish the workout, get a dunk,
with a dunk,
and then we give him the last 5-10 minutes to kind of do what he wants to do. If he wants to consecutive makes from some spot, wants to go through some more movement shooting, we kind of let him take control of the journey at that point, and let him do something to finish each workout that he enjoys.
It's so funny. He makes a free throw and he's like, damn it, use the rim. Dad would be ashamed.
Last free throw, and then he'll always want to make sure he gets himself in a position to where he can do something explosive at the rim just to work out. He's a big fan of throwing himself lobs now because he does a pretty good job with it. But the only way he gets to throw the lobs, he has to switch the last shot. So you'll see him take the shot over and over and over again until he gets it just right, till it feels right. And at that point, he decides, okay, now it's time to finish. Not all makes are valuable makes to us. Some of the mistakes are, we call them misses just went in. You want to make sure that you're getting the shots and you're hitting the spots on the rim. You want to, again, there's some excitement there. Now this is his time at this point. Once the dunk is finished, now he's deciding what he wants to do. So this day he decided he wanted to get 3 or 4 different spots of 5 consecutive makes before he got into his movement finisher. That's what he's doing here.
So funny, his movement finisher. I wonder what that is.
With the same level of intensity and the same level of desire that we had 10 plus years ago. And to me, it's incredible.
Yeah, I always say to be this great, you got to be a little psychotic, right? Like this dude doing this stuff every single day for years. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Seeing his body language right now, he's a little bit tired, but he's got some things that he likes to do on his own finish. Where he shoots in transition, he's got to make it all. He doesn't make it all, he starts over again. And to me, this is the incredible part. This isn't me telling him to do this. This isn't any coaches telling him to do this. This is him on his own, just wanting to finish with some difficult.
Oh, he's got to make 3.
We get a corner reload 3.
Oh. I thought he had to start over if he missed him. Okay.
Let's shoot it again until it goes in. And now he's done. Yeah, this is Brandon Payne, and this was just a part of a workout we did. We normally spend about, we felt like would be the easiest to understand and digest by most people. And you can find more about Stefan's workouts at Coach Brandon Payne on Instagram. And
yeah, we got to check out more. This was freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, this might be one of the single most interesting and just thought-provoking workouts I think I've seen. It was very good detail. And I like that he conveyed that detail to the audience and to the viewers. Man, I don't have no notes. That was great. I learned a ton. Hopefully you guys learned a ton too. Please let me know. We need to see some more like these, really good ones, really good workouts, really good trainers, really good examples of things like this that just like you can tell how much effort has been put in from beginning to end. Not just the social media style workout. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thank you for recommending it. And I'm sorry that video was almost an hour long, but I was enjoying too much. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next one.